An introduction to open access. What is open access? Open access is a publishing model that makes research free to read and reuse without any pay barriers. Traditionally, publishing has used a subscription model which charges readers to read content and places a subscription paywall between the reader and the content. This paywall is removed with open access. What are the benefits of open access? Because there are no pay barriers in the way of accessing open publications, it's much easier for other researchers across the globe, as well as the public, to find, access, and read research. Open research, in the widest sense, is positive because it is easier for others to challenge and interrogate research, making research more reliable and replicable. Research has a greater potential to be impactful in the broadest sense, for example, to influence policymakers and support practitioners who may not otherwise have access to research. It can lead to greater citations. If more people have access to research, then there is a greater likelihood that the work is cited. Many funders have an open access requirement, and complying with those mandates can affect a researcher's ability to secure funding in the future. Because all of the previous points, open access provides greater value for money for those who fund research. What is the history of open access? Researchers have been sharing their work for a long time, but open access started to take off in the early 1990s with the introduction of the internet. Momentum gathered in the early 2000s, which saw the launch of Biomed Central, the self-described first open access science publisher, as well as initiatives such as online petitions in support of open access to research. In 2002, the Budapest Open Access Initiative made its public statements of principles relating to open access to research literature, and this is seen as one of the defining moments in the history of open access. Over the intervening years, the drive towards openness has developed as more funders mandated open access as part of their funding requirements, and it is also supported by the REF requirements in the UK. In more recent years, efforts have continued to drive the open agenda forwards. For example, in 2018, Coalition S was launched, which is an initiative to make full and immediate open access to research publications a reality. Coalition S developed their Plan S, whose target was that all scholarly publications whose underpinning research was provided by national, regional, and international research councils and funding bodies must be published in open access journals, open access platforms, or made immediately available through open access repositories without an embargo by 2021. Over the last few years, we have seen the rise of read and publish deals and other initiatives to support the open agenda and Plan S principles.